These two coaches came out of that Bob Huggins tree, and Jared Calhoun, head coach at Utah State, said he was going to mix it up, and he has. His starting lineup has Carson Templin in the starting lineup, with Tucker Anderson joining him. First start for Templin since late January. First start for Tucker Anderson since early February. And a familiar starting five for Mick Cronin and the UCLA Bruins. 15th career NCAA tournament appearance. And there's his good buddy, Jared Calhoun. His first year at Utah State, 7 years at Youngstown State. Utah State has had 3 different head coaches in the last 3 years, and they've made it to the tournament every year, and away we go. Doug Sermons, Kevin Brill, Steven Anderson, our 3 officials. UCLA controls the opening tip, first possession for the Bruins. Both of these teams coming off very disappointing losses in their conference tournaments. I mean, both were blown out. Colorado State got Utah State, and Wisconsin sent UCLA home, as the first one is down. A three-pointer from Dylan Andrews opens up the scoring tonight.
And you got to keep your eye. You haven't seen Utah State play, in particular on defense. Their 2-3 zone is a little unorthodox. They'll match up, trap in the corners, bring the big out, try to force teams to stay perimeter oriented. At that time, Dylan Andrews was able to capitalize in the corner.
What do you make of the lineup change here with Templin and Anderson?
A little bit more size to deal with UCLA.
Templin at 6'8", and he's got up the first shot, no good. And that's Tucker Anderson.
Yeah.
One of the guys into that starting lineup at 6'9". And there's Falslev. He is a major weapon for the Utah State Aggies. Mason Falslev, averaged 15 points a game. All Mountain West second team. Now he gets a strip and a steal. Anderson not afraid. 3-pointers in right away, paying dividends. Tucker Anderson's mom, Sheila Frost, was a star at Tennessee. Had an NCAA tournament run through Rupp Arena back in the day in the late 80s. Here's Andrews once again. Okay. Dylan Andrews has arrived.
And we figured this 7-10 matchup, when we saw it, was probably going to be one of the most competitive ones in any pot, just because the teams kind of match up evenly a little bit more.
Yeah, Martinez comes up short. Martinez, their top scorer, averaging nearly 17 a game. I think both teams probably dropped a tick or two based on how they finished their season in their conference tournaments and the way they lost. Mick Cronin called UCLA's loss to Wisconsin embarrassing effort. A steal. Dylan Andrews all over the place. He sends it up to Daly. Daly lays it in. UCLA gets an easy one in transition.
Well, this Utah State team averages 17 assists a game. Now, you can't pre-forecast where you're going to throw the ball, because UCLA, like I said, forces 15 turnovers. So you got to use ball fakes, pump fakes, eye fakes, whatever you can to get it opening.
Martinez comes up short, missing on his first 2. UCLA missed the tournament last year, and it stung them. Kobe Johnson, who was one of the first pieces to transfer in, crosstown USC, and that's going to stay UCLA's ball.
And watch UCLA here. This is just an errant pass. I think kind of lost it more so. And then now out in transition. Again, the live ball turnovers benefit a team like UCLA. Listen, they're not going to play with a lot of pace, so you're going to force you to have to methodically operate your offense. So if you turn the ball over and give UCLA chances to score without any resistance, then you're going to have a long night.
Quick substitutions here by Jared Calhoun, Dexter O'Connell, Drake Allen, Alvin Gadarezzi on the floor. Falslev drives it and can't finish it. Gets his own, puts it back, can't finish it. And it ends up in the hands of Bilodeau. Oh no, Falslev gets it back and is fouled. Wow. Multiple bites at the apple for Utah State. Falslev took a shot to the mouth. He's going to the free throw line.
But the activity early by the Aggies allows 1, 2, 3 possessions and eventually turns into 2 free throws.
Mason Falslev Sophomore, Benson, Utah native, played his high school ball at Skyview. Knocks in the first. Hey, from cheering to celebrating, fan work is thirsty work. Crack open a refreshing Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? McCronin counters with some size of his own, and boy, does he have size. And Adai Mara at 7'3". A sophomore out of Spain, and gives him a major weapon. He's pretty athletic too for a big man.
Well, but his skill set is what is tantalizing, because he's not going to really post you up and beat you that way. In the short roll, he can pass. He can step out and shoot it. Good free throw shooters. Getting in the air too quickly and turning it over by Eric Davis Jr.
Unforced error by UCLA. Falslev's got another steal. There's Gattaretzi. Gattaretzi was quiet against Colorado State. Yeah. Colorado State made that great run in the Mountain West, putting 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. Kick to the corner by Allen. Three-pointer, no good. And Mara keeps it alive into the hands of Dylan Andrews, who has been very active to start this game. The 7'3" Mara. And Falslev stole it, got it right back to UCLA. And once again, Andrews from that same spot. And that'll be UCLA ball. Sends us to our first timeout. All tied at 8. UCLA, Utah State, Big Ten and Mountain West. How about that? Coach Cal, as we call this game from Rupp Arena. Coach Cal's got another win. Went to Arkansas, taking down Kansas today. Back in the winner's circle. Rick Pitino, John Calipari. Man, this is going to be a wild ride. This NCAA tournament. Nice pass, and Sky Clark on the finishing end from the 7'3" Mara.
Told you.
Well done.
And that's why you utilize him at the high post. Not only can he see over defenders to make passes, but the ability to have touch in this little pocket pass right there. You see where he put it? He put it so Clark could just catch, finish at the rim. I'm telling you, he's grown so much since he's come to UCLA, mentally, physically, emotionally. Listen, he's from overseas. So it took him time to kind of fit in, to feel right. So you're dealing with that along with the younger student of the game. But skill-wise, I'm telling you, it's all there. I just can't wait to watch it continue to progress.
He's from Zaragoza, Spain. He rolled his ankle against Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament. But he's had 6 days, and he looks healthy. He was battling an illness yesterday during the practice sessions. As Aquino turns it over, couldn't handle the pass into the hands of Bilodeau. Here comes Clark, and running with Sebastian Mack. First minutes for Mack off the bench. Mara wants it. Mara gets it, finds Clark. Passed up a 3, kicks it to Stefanovic. And that is Falslev with the board, pushing it up ahead. And that one's good, laying it in, Dayton Albury.
Get it up quick. The advanced pass allows you now, especially with one of your more athletic and quicker players, Albury, to be able to get to the basket before this defense by UCLA is set.
Mara, center of the wheel, a lot of traffic. Stefanovic got one.
Told you.
Lazar Stefanovic, he's out of Serbia, transfer from Utah. So he knows this rivalry with Utah State. Jumping in it in the NCAA tournament.
Well, you know, when Mara has the ball up top, it forces you to want to cut harder, because you know if you get open, it will be delivered on time and on target.
Drake Allen, 7 to shoot. Allen gets a switch, and bullet pass, skip pass that is to no one. Another turnover for Utah State.
Well, patience, assessing the territory, allowing the offense to work, and then putting the pass where it needs to be.
Utah State only averages a little shy of 11 turnovers a game. They already have 3 here in the first 6.5 minutes. Jared Calhoun, his name is popping up in a lot of the rumors for the West Virginia job coming out of that Bob Huggins coaching tree. Sky Clark drills a 3. The LA native Then quite the route to get to UCLA. Started at Illinois, then Louisville, and now a Bruin. Mick Cronin went deep into the portal to build this team going into the Big Ten for the first year. Got him back in the NCAA tournament. Nakano. Step back three. Ooh, missed it badly. Mara was there defending. And that's going to be a foul on Gattaretzi.
I want to go back to this play with Mara in the post. Okay, now you have to come in and double. If you freeze it right here, look at all this space, and look at the players that are all kind of coming down into Mara's space. But then once you kind of get into here, now you got to do is swing it. This is 2-on-1 on the weak side, and now you're going to be open. And that's even with the threat of Mara and his 3 assists not being a scorer inside.
Back to Mara. Center of the wheel. Templin back on the floor. Bilodeau. Stefanovic comes up short. There's Templin. Carson Templin, the Texan, into the starting lineup. Just a 3rd start all year. Shovel pass. That was a bad one. Too hot, too low. Alberry turns it over. 4th Aggie turnover already.
Yeah, he saw Mara standing there in the key too, so he wasn't going to challenge it.
Tyler Bilodeau got it. He's strong inside. Bilodeau, Oregon State transfer, coming off his worst game of the season against Wisconsin. Had just 2 points, but helps UCLA on a 7-0 run. Contacts going back in for Ian Martinez. Yeah, if you've ever worn contacts, you know the struggle, and that one never made it in his eyes. Let's send it over to Allie LaForce. What do you have, Allie?
Well, Brian, you know Utah State is known for its high-scoring, low-turnover offense, but today we're watching their defense, the matchup zone. It's a zone that would fluster most NCAA tournament teams that hadn't seen it, but perhaps not UCLA. Mick Cronin knows it better than anyone else. They learned it at the same time from the same person. He has studied it. He's become an expert at it, and he even ran it at Cincinnati. So if you see him attacking it really efficiently so far in this first half, that's exactly why.
Allie, both of these coaches had the same reaction, didn't they? When they saw the draw. They're matching up against each other. Say, you've got to be kidding me. All of our secrets are fully exposed here between Mick Cronin and Jared Calhoun as Bilodeau hits.
Yeah, and that's exposure to the zone right there. Get it swinging side to side and then hit the middle soft pocket. That's the soft spot in the zone. But ironically, these two coaches before the tournament talked maybe 9 or 10 days and said, what if we end up playing each other?
Yeah, and sure enough, they did.
Yeah, sometimes you get what you wish for.
Oh, heck of a pass. Wow. And that one goes. Carson Templin and one. That was a beautiful slip pass there by Mason Falslev. I didn't see a window, but he found one. Nicely done here, Jimmy.
Yeah, just get inside, attract the defense, make the play, and let your partner in crime do the rest.
Tournament summary. Creighton on this floor defeating Louisville. Big Ten's 2-0 right now. Wisconsin and Purdue both advancing. Michigan will be tipping shortly in Denver. And a moment ago, UCLA head coach Mick Cronin with Allie LaForce.
Well, Coach, no one knows this Utah State zone better than you. How have you been able to expose it early?
You got to pass and cut. Can't run all. You can run entries, not sets. So we've had some time to work on it. My problem's our defense right now.
What's bothered you defensively?
Well, we haven't adhered to the scouting report. And teams don't miss layups, Allie.
Got you. Thanks, Coach.
They just don't. All right, thank you.
Better tell them than me.
Yeah, Allie knew.
Yeah, teams don't miss a layup. Hey, Allie, teams don't miss layups. You know, just,
And that was straight from that interview to the huddle. Allie was like, pull the shoot, I'm out.
Mic drop, okay.
She's heard that before. Yeah. Better you than me. I'm with you, Allie. Go let those UCLA players wear that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mick Cronin from Cincinnati, so he's got a lot of family, including his dad here at the arena today as Stefanovic hits one, but a foul under the basket. And let's see who they get here.
After the shot.
Yeah, the shot does count, you're right.
And it's right, I think it's,
yeah, they're going to get Daly.
Yep, right there in the back. But that was a prime example, too, what Coach Mick Cronin was talking about, ball movement. Okay, it was quick passes, the zone shift, and you got an open shot, you know, in the corner. So attacking, I don't care what zone it is. If the ball sticks, it plays in favor to a defense that's kind of stationary and locked in.
Templin got stuck with it. Driving, hanging, can't finish it. Templin's there, and Templin able to score. That's a strong basket by the 6'8" sophomore from Fairview, Texas, into that starting lineup. 21-16. Templin's got a couple of field goals. Just his third starter, the first since January 22nd. Jared Calhoun said he was going to change up that lineup a bit and was true to his word.
KYP, know your personnel.
Turnover into the hands of Drake Allen. Allen's got teammates with him, pulls up for three, missed everything except the backboard. And it'll be UCLA ball with a foul on Utah State. Don't forget, you can get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com. UCLA women a chance at a national title this year. They've got a very strong team and high expectations.
Well, I mean, I saw it. I was watching a game of the third game in the Big Ten championship game against USC, and they had lost to 2 previous occasions. It was a different team, different story, and my goodness, this is a different kind of player right here.
William
Kyle. His bounce is kind of like we saw with Akpara, just so quick.
He got some good minutes against Wisconsin. I know it was a blowout loss, but he got a nice run in that game. Second chance once again, and Falslev lays it in.
How about this, Brian? 6 offensive rebounds for 11 second chance. So 11 of their 18 points, the Aggies, have come off of second shot opportunities. I know Mick Cronin is really not too happy about that.
Another layup is in. Mick Cronin, you've seen a lot of them. Stefanovic steps to the side for a three. Mara keeps it alive and saved over there by Dylan Andrews. UCLA resets it. Mack, he'll take it himself. Missed it. Mara, and there's a foul on Utah State. That's going to be on, I believe, on Anderson. Let's see who they get here. Templin actually called for the foul.
But even on that play, Mara had it, but it got taken away.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be, you grab it, you're going back up for the foul. Okay, you're not taking it out of bounds right here. And this is the other progression of his maturity right there, the upper body strength.
Andrews, little shake and bake, long two. Kobe Johnson, and up high, knocked it out of bounds. Falslev hit the deck. Johnson took a shot to the eye. And it'll be Utah State ball. I tell you, Jimmy, it's a strange vibe to this game. UCLA is up 5, but it doesn't feel like that. And I think Mick Cronin, his body language is kind of telling you there's some areas of major concern right now for the length of this game.
Yeah, but through the season, though, UCLA, you know, tendency in the first half, you'll have games like this that are kind of nip and tuck. You're trying to figure it out, and then slowly UCLA and the tempo defense kind of grinds on you.
Three-pointer short by Alberry.
And that's not taking anything from the Aggies, because you want to keep this game in balance, make a quick run.
Villadell, no, there's Falslev with another rebound. Man, he's stacking up some numbers here.
Yeah.
They push it. Gateretzi lays it in. In transition, Utah State cuts it to 3. Inside, Mara. He's definitely looking to pass first, and Ian Martinez strips it from him. Alberry, the spin, the finish. Might have been a foul there as well, but Alberry able to score it. It's a 1-point game. 6-0 run for the Aggies. Mara, shot fake, goes to the basket for the dunk.
Excellent footwork and patience, but more importantly, gave himself, BA, enough space on the baseline to really make that move.
Jared Calhoun calling out the plays. Calhoun's first NCAA tournament. Falslev gets Sebastian Mack on him. Trying to get the ball to Martinez. And now 5 to shoot. Falslev. Anderson, offensive rebound, another one. 7th offensive board for Utah State.
Well, that time Mara was out defending the jump shot, hence it opened it up for an offensive rebound inside.
Albin Gadarezzi blocked by Mara. No room inside with 7-3 guarding you. Sebastian Mack missed it. Dayton Alberry. He's the one guy that'll push this pace. Martinez catch and shoot. Another offensive rebound, number 8 for Utah State. Wow, this is a developing story here.
Yep.
Bruins cannot clear the defensive boards. Gadarezzi, oh wow, hard fall by Bilodeau. Got him off his feet. Commits the foul. Able to kind of protect his landing. And that'll take us to a timeout. Tyler Bilodeau going airborne here. The old shot fake. Ooh, scary. Free throws when we come back for Utah State. Game summary. UCLA by 3. Utah State hit a couple threes early. 0 for their last 9. 2 for 12 overall. And during that timeout, Jared Calhoun spending some time with Allie LaForce.
Well, Coach, what's your assessment of your defensive execution against a coach that knows it so well?
Well, we got to change it a little bit. We went 23 there, which is our 2-3. Nick's a great coach. It's going to be a chess match.
Offensively, the toughness is there. You're getting the offensive rebounds, the putbacks. But when it comes to the first shot attempt, anything you'd like to see drawn up differently?
You know, we're getting wide open looks, Allie. We got to keep, taking them. Hopefully some of them will fall. I like our execution right now.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
And Jared Calhoun, a couple of guys from Wofford, just lost to Tennessee, hanging around to take in the rest of this opening round action. Free throws here for Albin Gadarezzi, 6'11" senior out of Belgium. Knocks down the first. Talk to me about Jared Calhoun, Jimmy. His first year, replaced Danny Sprinkle. Sprinkle went to Washington in the Big Ten. 7 years at Youngstown State, though, and he's got a lot of experience. Obviously comes out of that Bob Huggins tree, but it's a big playbook, and it's very similar, as we've been chronicling, to Mick Cronin, but there's a lot to it. He's a hot young coach right now.
He is, but he has similarities, but the difference is his tempo and his, I think, creativity on the offensive end. He wants to get the ball high-paced. He wants to shoot threes, but yet and still defensively he has those principles from Huggy.
Oh, Mara with a block from behind. Gadarezzi secured it. That's going to be a held ball. Possession arrow belongs to Utah State. What a block here. Closing out from Mara.
Well, it's because he was in the right position. That time he was able to turn, take a step and a half, use that 7'3" frame and wingspan to recover. How hard is it to get the ball in right here?
No kidding. Falslev just went up and got it over Johnson. Falslev blocked again. Dai Mara making an impact here in round 1. Some question how effective he'd be after he rolled his ankle. He's got 3 blocks now, 2 on that last defensive possession. Little turnaround, left-handed jump hook.
Telling you. And that's right in the middle. He posted up, bought some real estate right in the middle of that zone. And before he was able to collapse, one dribble to his left. Nice little soft touch with his left hand.
Mara coming off the bench, passing, scoring, defending. Here's Martinez. Clark knocked it out of his hands. He recovers. Late clock, got to get a shot up. They do, and it goes, and that's Falslev again. Mason Falslev Falslev's got 11 now. Kobe Johnson. Nothing there with Mara. Reset it, other side of the floor. Andrews hit a couple of threes early. UCLA 3 for 10 from range. Utah State 2 for 12. Another late clock. And Sky Clark rains one in at the end of the shot clock. UCLA up 5.
And no panic that time by Clark. He just wanted to clear enough airspace to get that shot up.
Second made 3 for Sky Clark. Nakano looking for help. Now reset it with Gatorexi. They pull Mara away from the basket. Here's Alberry. Martinez, another late clock, and Clark with the deflection, the turnover. Andrews running. Wow, hard foul by Alberry. And Dylan Andrews will go to the line. 30-25, physical game here. Possession oriented. And Adai Mara is having a first half to remember in the NCAA tournament.
It shows you the high IQ Mara has for the game. It's just developing and continuing to develop his body physically. And once he does that and adds some more offensive prowess in that three-point shot, I don't know how you could stop him.
Now, whatever illness he was fighting off yesterday, he has looked great here tonight. Beware of the weary as Andrews knocks down his 2 free throws. Andrews has 8. He had a couple of three-pointers early. UCLA leads it by 7. This is the 7-10 matchup in the Midwest. You make it to the Sweet 16 out of this, you go to Indianapolis. Houston is the top seed in the Midwest. Tennessee is the 2 seed. And Tennessee is awaiting the winner of this game tonight. Under 3 minutes to go, first half.
Watch the trap in the corner. See right there. And immediately, Savanovic brings the ball out of the corner, so the trap is null and void.
Got himself an open 3.
And that gets the shot. See, that's the counter to the trap. Because when the ball is in the air, you can see the trap coming. If you catch it, now you get out of it. And you beat the trap, and you end up having an advantage when you swing it.
That's an 8-0 burst here by UCLA to go up 10. And Allen throws it away. Turnover, Utah State.
Well, let me show it. Now watch going into the corner. Boom, right here. Now watch Savanovic. He comes right outside of this double team. Okay, now look at how many players in blue on one side of the court. As he swings back, they rotate, try to double team again. You dribble, you beat it. Now you find yourself with a wide open shot.
Bruins by 10. A little pressure in the backcourt. And now they run. Kobe Johnson and Mara, easy pickings. Hanging like Shaq on that rim. Johnson to Mara on the receiving end this time.
Yeah, the only difference is the backboard is still up there.
We're not in a delay changing the rims.
That's right, yeah.
There's been a drop for Utah State. UCLA dialing up that defense. Templin, he's going to pull a 3. Ill advised.
Yeah, that one you gave it right back to UCLA.
Kobe Johnson. He led the wave of the portal and all the transfers. The first one, Mick Cronin said it had to happen. Mara again, another dunk. Timeout, Utah State. Adai Mara. Mick Cronin has found the secret sauce against Utah State, Jimmy. It's a 12-0 run.
Yeah, the Shaq of the West right now getting busy at 7-3. Barely jumping, but still getting it done.
UCLA on a 12-0 run. Mara played just 11 minutes against Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament last Friday. He's already played 12 minutes here. And he's checking off his season averages in the first half of play. Utah State needs something desperately here to stop this run. And Anderson missing a 3. Falslev another offensive rebound, and he is fouled. Got popped in the face on his way up. Second time Falslev has taken one above the shoulders.
The more I watch Falslev play, and I'm thinking if you add 2 to 3 more inches, who he reminds me of, if you were to put a left or put a sleeve pad on his left elbow, play for New Jersey Nets, tragically lost his life, but Petrovic.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling you, movements, everything like that, longer arms, no fear of going to the basket, can shoot it, got poked in the eye.
Man.
But Drazen Petrovic,
I like it.
If no young people have ever seen him play, and Falslev plays hard just like him. Creative, nasty.
Football mentality to him. He was
yep.
a star on the gridiron, was Mason Falslev, football and basketball star. Matter of fact, won state championships for his high school in both sports in the same year.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, he has no fear.
Under a minute to go in the first half. UCLA with a 12-0 run before those free throws. And extending this lead to 12. 5 to shoot. Sky Clark ready to pull from the logo. Does and misses badly. And here comes Utah State. You get a 2 for 1 here.
Yep.
Drake Allen missed it. And there's Clark with a rebound.
That's all right. See if you can get a stop and get this lead below 10 or at 10 going into halftime if you're the Aggies.
This has been a burst, Jimmy. It was a 2-point game with 4 minutes left in this first half. And then UCLA stepped on the gas, tightened it up defensively. 5 to shoot. Stefanovic looking inside for Mara. Mara drops it off. Under the basket, blocked by Anderson. Falslev pushes, got Allen running with him. Falslev for 3. No. Got it off in time, but missed it. And that'll take us to the end of the first half. Mick Cronin and the Bruins of UCLA up 12.
But you can see where the separation can be created by UCLA.
Allie LaForce standing by with Sky Clark.
Well, Sky, this team shot nearly 60% in that first half. How did you navigate the zone to get the shots and the looks that you wanted to create?
Just moving the ball, just being unselfish. That's really it. Just being unselfish, playing together, and then taking the best shot.
One weakness was they had 10 offensive rebounds that led to 14 second chance points. How do you challenge your team to just be tougher in the second half?
Yeah, that's something we definitely gonna harp on. We got a little lead, but we got to keep it going to the second half. So offensive rebound and stopping them from getting those is gonna be key.
Thanks so much, Sky.
Thank you, thank you.
Sky Clark, 8 points in the first half. UCLA sharing it well. 16 made field goals. They've assisted on 14 of those. And it is the Bruins by 12. AT&T at the half coming up next. Utah State, though, they have missed 14 consecutive three-pointers. Made their first 2. None since. And we welcome you back to Rupp Arena from Lexington. Brian Anderson with Jim Jackson. So UCLA has their story. They certainly have things to work on. Defensive rebounding would be one.
Right.
How does Utah State get back in it, though, Jim?
Well, methodically, because you're not going to get back in right away against this UCLA team because they won't allow it. But if you can operate your offense by moving it, getting it quickly down the court, you can get in. But also keep in mind, UCLA has struggled the first 5 minutes out of the half in a lot of games. That's when teams have made their run. This is an opportunity right now for the Aggies to kind of cut into this lead.
That's the Jim Jackson perspective, Allie LaForce. How about from Jared Calhoun?
I got it for you. He said, listen, we were 2 of 17 from 3. The ball has not been in our playmakers' hands because they've crowded us so well. He said, honestly, we are lucky that we're only down 12 with Martinez doing nothing in that first half. He's 0 for 5. He said, we need to keep offensive rebounding, but we will not go 2 for 17 again. I hope he's right.
Ian Martinez, an all Mountain West first team performer this year. He averages nearly 17 a game, Jimmy. He is their go-to offense. But coming off a 13-point game where he was 3 for 12 in the Mountain West tournament against Colorado State, and he's got a donut on the board right now. Martinez, as Allie mentioned, 0 for 5. 4 of those shots coming from three-point range. On the UCLA side, it is Adai Mara having a great game. And when the matchup fits, Jimmy, when you get a team that doesn't have all the size in the Big Ten like Utah State, Mara is going to work.
But also against his zone. So now he's able to be so effective against the zone where they're planting himself on the block, in the high post, mid post, and then making plays out of it. He's the perfect match or counter to this zone on how to beat it.
Played 14 minutes off the bench in the first half. And Mara just filling up the stat sheet with 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 of those offensive, had 2 assists, had 3 blocks. And you'll see him back on the floor shortly. Mick Cronin's Bruins, 22-10. They went 13-7 in the Big Ten. Kind of an inconsistent team, but the Big Ten was a beast. Lost to Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament last Friday, and one that has sparked them into much better practices leading up to this. They've had a nice performance in the first half. Daly first shot of the second half, and off we go.
Well, you think about it, Eric Daly Jr. only 6 minutes, and now I was going to say this, coming out of the half, coming out the timeout, the halftime, you're only down 4 possessions, really. Okay, so that means you can get yourself back into the game if you can get solid stops, and that was a solid stop. Now you're able to get out and run. Falslev able to get out and run and cut into this lead and get it down to 10.
Falslev's been the guy. 15 points of the 29 on the board for Utah State. Sky Clark, no good. And Utah State secures it, pushing. Alberry all the way, blocked from behind by Kobe Johnson. Johnson stuck with it.
I talked about the first 5 minutes for UCLA. For whatever reason it is, during the course of the year, it has been their nemesis. And if you do your scouting, you take advantage of that, and Mick Cronin not hesitating.
56 seconds.
Yeah, but he took Tyler Bilodeau off, so he's not happy with something he did not do. Bilodeau inserts Mara.
Mara back in quickly. Here is Martinez. Coming up short, still hasn't hit a bucket. He's 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. Utah State's got to have Martinez if they have any chance of coming back in this game.
Yeah, but he can't force his offense either, trying to get it back.
Oh, wide open is Kobe Johnson, and gets the shooter's bounce. Kid from Milwaukee, Nicolet High School in Milwaukee. Started his collegiate career at USC and ends up with Mick Cronin at UCLA. Big 3 ball there. And the lead is 13. Alberry, no. And a fight for it. Got a held ball. Possession arrow belongs to Utah State. It's Carson Templin. Needs some help getting up. Jordy Barnes checks in for the first time in this game.
That little pump fake froze the defense, which got Kobe Johnson open in the corner.
Winner here matches up against Tennessee, the 2 seed. Took care of Wofford. Carson Templin. Let's see how effective Barnes can be. And working with Templin, nice little 2-man game, air ball. And that's last touch by an Aggie. And yep, you can see Jared Calhoun he's going back to the drawing board here. Isaac Johnson, the 7-footer, will enter to try to match up with Mara. Jared Calhoun searching right now for the right pieces. Remember, they got blown out by Colorado State. Colorado State, one of the hottest teams in the country. Winners of 10 in a row. And that's a foul immediately. Isaac Johnson checks in and commits the foul guarding Mara.
If you ask Jared Calhoun coming in, said the strength of this team and how they can maybe beat UCLA was to force them to turn it over. And they did it against San Diego State and St. Mary's.
Falslev, little push shot is good.
Yeah.
He's ready for it.
He is. He's always ready for it.
Mason Falslev, 17 points. And Mara, remember, he injured that ankle in the Big Ten tournament. And looked like he may have tweaked it right there.
Right there.
And that's the left one, too.
Yep. And
that's the one he rolled against Wisconsin, Jimmy.
Yep, and it doesn't take much when you're trying to recover from a sprained ankle, especially all that size and weight. And Clark again,
big shot.
Yep, but that's classic how you break, full court press. And it's just like the zone. Move it, find the gap. And now you find yourself with an opening.
UCLA with 7 made threes. Clark has 3 of those. Barnes playmaking. Falslev stepped on the sideline. Kobe Johnson is down over here on the sideline for UCLA. I didn't catch what happened, but he hit the floor immediately. And looking at his ankle here.
But let's see when he steps in.
Yeah, definitely stepped out. Oh man,
we see
that's
this,
the worst.
Listen, gosh, right on the toe, trying to stop. Right there.
That forward sprain.
Well, lucky it turned over quick too. Wasn't that side.
Andrews, no. Falslev lost the handle coming down. Second chance here for UCLA. Daly surrounded by Aggies. And it'll be UCLA ball. Well, we got some newsworthy moments happening here early in this second half as Anderson fouls Daly. The fact that Mara is out right now, we'll see if he's going to be able to return with that bad wheel. But UCLA's lead is 14.
Right there getting that ankle retaped.
Free throws for the lefty Eric Daly Jr., transfer from Oklahoma State. Makes it a 15-point Bruin lead. Hey, from cheering to celebrating, fan work is thirsty work. Crack open a refreshing Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Eric Daly averaged nearly 12 a game this year, 4 rebounds. Sophomore, Florida native. Started at Oklahoma State last year. There's some pep talks going on. Trying to get that ankle reset.
Well, I tell you what, he and Tyler Bilodeau coming to UCLA kind of solidified what Mick Cronin really needed offensively and defensively. Tough shot that time, Falslev, but an excellent offensive rebound. And finally, Martinez able to scratch the scoring card here.
Johnson kept it alive. That's one area that Utah State has thrived in this game. 13 offensive rebounds turning into 16 second chance points. Bilodeau is fouled. Johnson picking up 2 fouls quickly.
Well, Martinez is able to get and benefit from the ball being swatted around. But you got to be there in order to receive it.
Clark working on a screen from Bilodeau. Back to him. Fires up a 3-pointer short. Daly tried to keep it alive, but into the hands of Jordy Barnes. Dexter Akano misses a 3. Man, Utah State cannot buy one from beyond the arc. They are 2 for 21. Andrews, hot pass at the feet. Bilodeau handles it though. Can't score it. Falslev taking on all comers right now. Ball's on the deck, and that'll be Utah State ball. Utah State has missed 18 consecutive 3-pointers. And the Bruins up 47-33 in the second half. I hear on Adai Mara, still on that UCLA bench. Allie LaForce has the latest on the big man.
That's right. Mara subbed out with just under 18 minutes of game clock left in the second half, and they were working on his ankle. The team confirmed that it was just a retape job, and he is set to return at any moment that coach calls his name.
See how effective he can be. Thanks, Allie. Good hustle. Bruins lead by 14. Johnson, the 7-footer, will let it fly, and he'll rattle one home. After 18 straight misses, it is the 7-footer Isaac Johnson who drills a 3. That's the first made 3, Jimmy, since early stages of the first half. Strong bucket there by Daly inside.
Yeah, good patience, and then in that dunker spot, Eric Daly Jr. able to find a slot, find a little contact, respond to the 3 by Johnson.
Martinez gives it up. back to the point guard. Johnson inside, turnover. Had a man open, just a wayward pass. Kobe Johnson blocked by Isaac Johnson, but a foul. And Kobe will go to the line, put another foul. That's the third on Isaac.
Well, let's go back here. And I want to freeze something right here. Freeze it right here. When you got it, see you got that empty corner. So now no one's able to rotate over. And now the slip screen, wide open, Bilodeau, no one talks about the switch. Excellent play design and execution that time by the Aggies.
Get more sports coverage than ever before in the Bleacher Report app. Be sure to download the all-new Bleacher Report app today. Kobe Johnson knocks down both free throws. UCLA pushes their lead back to 15. 51-36. Bruins coming out of the rough and tumble Big Ten.
It still sounds weird, doesn't it?
Yeah. Big Ten country in LA.
I know, man. Hey, you know, Nick talked about the travels. He said, man, we've been back to that way 7 times. You know?
Mick loves to talk about those charter flights and all that travel for his players.
Hey, but you know, it's all about the student athlete and that education. I'm telling you, just you know, it's all
you
about
can study
that.
on those planes.
Yeah, that's what they said, right?
Bilodeau knocks it down. Little jumper is good.
Wow.
And here UCLA starting to pour it on right now. UCLA looks good, and this is a really good answer because they did not play well against Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin made 12 threes in that game. Wisconsin did win today, and that's going to be Utah State ball.
But, you know, but Wisconsin, the pace of play is different. Their offensive identity is different than in the past.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Greg Gard has kind of transformed and morphed into what the modern game is, not so much of the swing offense. So when you say Wisconsin and 12 threes, yes, that's how they tend to play now.
Mikado can't hit it, and Bilodeau with a rebound. Tell you, Kobe Johnson looks a little hobbled. He rolled that ankle, and he's limping his way back.
He's hit the deck a few times. But at this point of the season, everybody has some sort of nagging or lingering injury in a long season.
Johnson in the corner, and he rattles one home.
He ain't that hurt.
I tell you what, that made him feel great.
Let me tell you something.
He limped down and he sprinted back.
Well, defense, you tend to limp. Offense, you're spry for some reason.
20-point UCLA lead. They're on a 9-0 run. Ball gives you energy, gives you life. UCLA having their way against Utah State. Jimmy, we take a look from our AT&T connected cam.
Yeah, and this is unconventional. Freeze it right here. Now look where Isaac Johnson is at right now. He has to get all the way back over here. And this is where the offense works for UCLA. Boom. Unconventionally bringing the big man up, opens it up for that corner three.
It's a big ask for a 7-footer, for anybody really, but especially a 7-footer. Johnson, Kobe Johnson that is, hits a 3 to give UCLA a 20-point lead. And Utah State, their troubles continue. They turn it over.
But here's the difference, and we talked about the numbers in leagues. Within the Mountain West, it works. He's able to get back. But playing against a higher level team that understands how to play against that defense, the recovery time is not the same. So they're going to suck you in knowing that that's what you want to do and swing it quickly, and you're going to get beat.
Good point. Adai Mara back in the game, right through his hands. Right to Clark, though, and it's all bouncing right for the Bruins as Clark hits another triple. Sky Clark has 4 made threes, 14 points to lead UCLA.
Well, does Mara get the assist on that?
And Mara just got a block.
Yeah.
Best news for UCLA, Mara is back on the floor and running well after the retape, just as Ali reported. The Bruins turning this one into a lopsided affair against Utah State. What an answer. Here's Mara, guarded by Templin. Throws a shoulder, got stuck under, and steps on the baseline to turn it over. UCLA by 23. Good to see Mara back on the floor. Falslev's been about the only bright spot for the Aggies. And Clark with 14 now on 4 made threes as we check in with Allie LaForce. There he is, Allie, your guy, Hep. He's back.
Cronin. You got to love this guy. He's becoming a legend, by the way, or he has been for some time now. And every March Madness, we have to talk about Hep because he is the father of Mick Cronin, 83 years old, drove himself from Cincinnati. Here's his story. Played baseball at Cincinnati before winning over 400 games as a high school basketball coach. Some of those wins were with Mick and Dan at Cincinnati LaSalle. He was a scout for the Atlanta Braves, and he was there when Mick got his first coaching opportunity. He's at most practices that he can drive to physically. He loves to come to March Madness games. He's obviously watched his son ascend the ranks with every step along the way, from video coordinator and later an assistant at Cincinnati, Rick Pitino's top assistant at Louisville, and then head coach at Murray State, Cincinnati, and UCLA. But Hep is a staple when you talk about Mick Cronin. And Jim, I know that you got to spend some time with him as well.
I did, and you know, one of the questions, this is what Hep said to me. He said, have you known anybody whose son kicked him out of practice? I said, what do you mean? He said, one day we were at practice and Mick got mad at the whole team and he kicked everybody out of practice. So I just sat there. And a friend of mine, I said, he can't be talking to me. And Mick was like, no, you too, you get out. He said, well, that must mean us too. And they got kicked out.
Stories that never end. I mean, old baseball scout. He's got plenty of stories. Saw and helped sign a lot of great players in that Braves organization. Guys like Dave Justice, Chipper Jones, and old Hep. we saw a lot of him in Indianapolis in the bubble. Mick Cronin is hoping to take Hep back to Indianapolis. If you get to the Sweet 16 in this Midwest region, that's where it'll be. And remember, that's where UCLA became the second team to go from the first four to the final four, joining VCU. And what a great run for the Bruins.
And that was right there after that COVID year.
Seth Mack can't hit it, and Falslev with the rebound. Now Mick Cronin, he's very familiar with Lexington, this area. Kentucky, coach at Murray State, obviously great success at Cincinnati. And this is his turf, this area, but he's an LA guy. He's gone full Hollywood, Jimmy. He loves Los Angeles, loves being the head coach at UCLA. And they're very glad to be back in the NCAA tournament after they missed last year.
Well, you know what he loves to, proving that the way he plays translates out to the West Coast into a traditional school like UCLA that plays a different way.
Yeah, good point.
And that drives him more than anything, is that how can you say it doesn't fit or work if you haven't given it a chance, and if you haven't gotten the right personnel to operate and run it.
Youngest to get to 500 wins. As Mara will take a seat. Dylan Andrews re-enters. 9:38 left. UCLA just in ball control mode. They played excellent defense. Utah State's had good luck. They just have gone into a major drought from three-point range. Just 3 for 26 today. At one point, it missed 18 straight. Templin for three. And ball's loose. Kobe Johnson comes out of the pack.
Well, but a big part of the success you see Clark in transition with the quick three, the Aggie success. Oh, beautiful pass inside. Is being able to turn a team over. Well, UCLA doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, throughout the course of the year, just a little under 11 turnovers. They only have 4 this evening.
Yeah.
So if a part of your attack plan is to aggressively frustrate your opponent, well, that hasn't worked to UCLA with UCLA.
9 giveaways for Utah State tonight. Alberry inside, missed it. And saved by Allen. Another chance here for the Aggies. And a hang and a foul. Dexter Akano is going to go to the line. I think they're going to get Clark here. 55 with the foul, and Akano to the line. Centers from Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther and Creed. Stars Michael B. Jordan. It's only in theaters April 18th. Shot with IMAX film cameras. Dexter Akano. Spent time in Marquette, then Oregon State, finding his way to Utah State. Both of these coaches hitting the portal heavily. Almost have to now to stay afloat. The thing about Utah State is, though, they've turned over coaches and players.
Right.
From Ryan Odom to Danny Sprinkle to Jared Calhoun. 3 years, 3 different head coaches. And with a lot of chatter about Jared Calhoun and potentially returning to West Virginia, where he was an assistant. Could be 4 in 4 years. We'll see. Daly goes strong, is fouled. There it is. Odom. These are all NCAA tournament teams, by the way.
Well, and that's the part you got to understand. Okay, this is their 3rd tournament in a row, 6 out of their last 7 with that turnover. And, you know, talking to the staff and people that said, people don't realize how big of the AD, how big of a basketball community it is, in particular there, Utah State. I mean, it's huge. They sell out the arena. Again, not a big arena, but they sell it out. They enjoy it. They love it. And as a part of that, they've been successful. Like I said, 6 out of the last 7 years they've been in the tournament. Diana Sable. So Diana Sable started at Ohio State when I was there. Now, another point through the UCLA athletic director, Martin Jarman, also started out at Ohio State.
All roads lead back to Ohio.
It just lead back to Central Ohio for some reason. I just don't know.
You and Allie, insufferable this time of year with your Ohio references. There's a drive and a finish by Dayton Alberry. Oh, it is kind of interesting to see.
No, it is.
2 Buckeyes. Buckeyes thriving everywhere except here in the television booth.
Why are you talking about Clark like that? Clark is in the studio right now. I don't know why you would do that.
Day 1 NCAA tournament. We're going to rack them up tomorrow. Another 32 teams in play tomorrow. And we'll do it all over. And best of luck to all our colleagues around the country. And man, we love this time of year. Just a great crew, great people to be around in this incredible merger as Alberry hits a 3.
Well, it's the enthusiasm that everybody shares for this tournament and what it means. And you don't have a dog in a fight. I mean, you know, if you went to alma mater, of course you want to see if they're in it, if they do well. But you genuinely love seeing the young men and women compete.
Yeah.
And see if they can advance and get caught up in the emotion as well.
Well, let's shout out our great crew here, too, and all the crews around. It's a long day, especially all of our camera operators, especially the handheld guys, all with the cameras on their shoulder. As Alberry goes again, is fouled. Things start to churn a little bit right now for the Aggies. Finally getting something positive here.
Yeah, off the turnover, which is rare. Finally, a spark of enthusiasm. Alberry right here, able to get the foul and possible and one.
NCAA tip-off show on True TV at noon Eastern. 16 games across TBS, CBS, TNT, and True TV. And looking forward to see what Alabama can do. The SEC with 14 teams in the tournament. Alabama went to their first ever Final Four a year ago. And they are a 2 seed. 8-0 run here for Utah State. 63-45 UCLA. Just trying to get to the finish line with 6.5 to go. Sky Clark with 14. He leads the Bruins. Been a balanced attack, though. Getting great minutes from Mara in that first half. No sense bringing him back with that sore ankle. It's going to be a push, and that's going to be Utah State ball. Mara tried to give it a go, but no reason at this point, Jim.
No, not at all. And keep in mind, this lead and the way UCLA played is really without the effect of their leading scorer, Tyler Bilodeau. So it just tells you how effective they've been as a team versus this tough Utah State team.
Now, Mick Cronin went with a hot hand in Mara. Bilodeau just 6 points. But they have not needed him. UCLA by 18 as we take a break. Amazing history at UCLA. Legendary stuff. John Wooden, 53 tournament appearances. 5th all-time at NCAA tournament wins. Lou Alcindor there. There's Bill Walton, the great Bill Walton. 19 Final Fours, including the one in 21 for Mick Cronin's crew, and 11 national titles. And 1.17 straight. And this proud program at UCLA trying to put a round 1 victory in the books after missing the tournament last year. And a day with Tennessee on Saturday. Tennessee, the 2 seed in this region. Houston, the top seed. They won today. A lot of lopsided games in the opening round of coverage. Going to be a foul by Johnson. Trips up Alberry. Five and a half to go. Tennessee took down Wofford on this side of the bracket. Rick Barnes and the Volunteers look formidable after they beat Auburn in the SEC tournament. That was a 15-point win by Tennessee. Off night for Ian Martinez.
Yeah,
UCLA's been in his pocket.
He couldn't get by in time, and it's the quickness of the smaller guards and the size of the bigger ones that kind of kept Martinez. But
Nice.
Yeah, Allen. There's been some other plays though where, you know, from an offensive perspective, especially early on, the Aggies had some success getting to the basket, but then Mara changed up a lot of that too with the size inside.
Seven to shoot. Here's Daly. The lefty fires a 3. Missed it. Offensive rebound. Clark secures. And another chance. More clock to eat for UCLA. Utah State has dominated the Bruins on the offensive glass. I'm sure Mick Cronin is going to bring that up. That'll be a teaching point between games. Nice little turnaround by Eric Daly Jr. Approaching a 4-minute mark left in this one. And Foslev can't finish it.
I love his attacking mentality. You know,
I'm with you.
Only a sophomore. I mean, heart and soul, grit, determination, just coming up a little bit short on the talent side versus this UCLA team, but not on the heart side.
Kobe Johnson. Late clock once again. Bilodeau. All righty then. Bilodeau sticks one from the March Madness logo. And late clock, had to get it up. Bilodeau. More playing time in the second half with Mara's injury. Mara came in less than a minute into this second half. Didn't start and then rolled that ankle. There's a block by Johnson. Well, UCLA just hovering over Utah State almost every turn. Skips it to Clark. Back it out. Ball control.
Another deep one that time by Eric Daly Jr. now on transition. Again, the shot was missed, but the mission was complete, which is bleeding time off of the shot and game clock. More importantly, another opportunity for UCLA to milk it a little bit more. But a performance that, like, coaches look at, yes, you can win by double digits, but the offensive rebounds that they've given up to kind of a smaller team, that means that the hustle a lot of times wasn't there, and the focus, get in the body, can come back to haunt you. So something that they'll work on, but there's a lot of positives if you're looking at this from a UCLA perspective.
And we're coming to the finish line here. 2:07 remaining. UCLA has kept Utah State at arm's length. And Mara back in the game here. Get a little bit of a run. Thought he might be done with that tweak of the ankle.
I can't wait to get to practice tomorrow and ask Nick and the coaching staff what was the mindset of putting Mara back in. Seriously.
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
Trent Perry. I don't know if Mick's going to let us in practice tomorrow now that you've said that. You know?
Well, I'm getting in. I don't know about y'all.
Mara leaves it for Daly, who missed it. Tell you, Mara had a first half to remember, though.
Yep.
Gave him big minutes. Stream CBS Sports HQ, your free 24/7 snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. You can catch all the highlights, all the analysis, breaking news, anywhere you are. Download the CBS Sports app to watch today.
You know what the question is, too, like a team like Utah State. You have 4 underclassmen that are returning that are going to be pretty good. Headed by, Mason Falslove, right? But in today's world, the transfer portal, how many do you know are really coming back, and how do you re-recruit?
The call on the floor was out of bounds, white.
Okay.
Utah State ball. That ball is under review, challenged by the coach for UCLA. If he's incorrect, he'll be charged a timeout.
And he'll be shamed.
Yeah, he will be.
Doug Sermon's one of the best we have in the game. 9 Final Fours. And Mick Cronin having a chat with his team. Yeah, back to Utah State, though. You're right. And it's not just the players here. I mean,
coach and staff.
Again, Jared Calhoun, his name's starting to pop a little bit after what they did this year in the Mountain West, going 15-5 in conference play.
Well,
That's what they're looking at.
Yeah, right there. It looks like, just because Mara's hand comes down, did he touch it? I don't see right here. One. No, I think it's UCLA ball. But here's 2 things. You have a lot of talented players in the Mountain West that are getting recruited and being plucked out of the conference. And then, as a coach, I don't care what program you're at, your best recruiting is re-recruiting your own player.
Yeah.
Because now you have to convince them.
Been reversed. The UCLA's basketball. They will not be charged a timeout.
There you go. Good call, good catch. Even though it's late in the game, you still want to get the call right, and they did. But that's, you talk to any coach, it's like, I got to re-recruit my own players.
Sure. You've gone this whole game without mentioning Jared Calhoun is from Cleveland.
I didn't want to just say, because I didn't want to add any more fuel to the fire to that. I didn't want, because then y'all really wouldn't have heard the end of it then.
Played for Raleigh Massimino, did.
How about that?
Jared Calhoun. 7 years at Youngstown State. As Daly goes to the basket and scores it. Jared Calhoun very close with Joe Mazzulla of the Boston Celtics. Matter of fact, Jared Calhoun was the best man in Joe Mazzulla's wedding. And I talked to Joe Mazzulla yesterday, and he is a huge fan of Calhoun, not just as a friend, as a very close friend, but thinks he's one of the great coaches coming up in college basketball, and finally getting a chance at his first year in the Mountain West with Utah State. And out of that Bob Huggins coaching tree, he and Mick Cronin. Final minute of play here. And UCLA rolling in their opening round matchup against Utah State. UCLA really assisting well. I mean, they passed the ball. Mara, a big part of that. UCLA has 26 made baskets, Jimmy. They have 22 assists.
Yep, to, what is that, 5? Well, now up to 9 turnovers because of the end. But for the meat of the game, didn't lose offensive possessions due to a lot of unforced turnovers, which lead to opportunities for your opponent. But a very disciplined team, and that comes from, the coaching staff and Mick Cronin, the way they play offensively. Be sure of your passes, see the pass first, see through the defense, all the little fundamental things that they take advantage of that their opponents don't do.
Mara, one more at the line. Jack Seidler checks in. deep off that UCLA bench. Playing in his 7th game. Getting a little run here. As we come to the end, 4th and final game in Lexington, Kentucky. They average 16,000 fans throughout the 4 games. In this basketball hotbed here in the Bluegrass State. Great to be back at Rupp Arena, famed Rupp Arena. Been 12 years since they played an NCAA tournament game here. And we'll do it again on Saturday. We got some great matchups coming up. UCLA and Tennessee in the Midwest in the 2nd round. And Auburn against Creighton in the South. Both of those games are going to be must watch. 2 great friends, Mick Cronin, Jared Calhoun, shake hands. And UCLA, after missing the tournament last year, back in and advancing to the 2nd round. A resounding 72-47 victory over Utah State. And now a day with a 2 seed in the Midwest. Bruins will match up against Tennessee and their stifling defense. Anybody going to score 50 in that game?
You know, that's the kind where you say defense, defense, defense. Next thing you know, the offense for both sides just takes over and are just hitting shots.
That's a great point. Big game there for Adai Mara. Hep is happy.
No,
a lot of the Mick Cronin fans are here.
He's not happy. He's telling Mick about what his team didn't do.
All those offensive rebounds.
You know it.
He's going to get himself kicked out of practice tomorrow, just like Jimmy.